Stephanie Brader, and my mom's been asking me to please contact you. That you do wonderful things for wonderful people. So I'm contacting you about my son, Daniel Schiraldi, and my grandson, Devin Burchett. Devin is now almost 6 years old. On May 2nd, he'll be 6 years old. And my son has been raising Devin since he was 5 months old as a single dad, and I'll probably go more towards this after, but they have the most um, precious relationship that I have ever been blessed to witness between two people, father and son. It's unbelievable. There's a very, very strong connection between the two of them. But here's the story behind it. My son thought that he was the father of Devin, and he was there for the delivery when Devin was born on May 2nd, 2005. Devin's mom has had problems throughout her life, a whole nother story of abuse and a lot of stuff. But she has drug problems, and she's been in and out of prison. She really has not seen Devin very much in the, almost 6 years of his precious life. But so Danny's really he's a single dad, and he's been doing an amazing job of it. On December 28th, 2009, right after Christmas, my son Daniel, and I'll send you the clip, his condo went on fire, and they lost everything. I mean everything. Except their lives, which of course is the most important thing. He even lost his little doggy Daisy in the fire. He lost his bunny and fish and turtle. And but he was able to, it was the second floor, and his only thought was, I get a little emotional, I'm sorry. His only thought was to save himself and his son, and he had Devin, my grandson, hang off the patio, and he jumped down and then told Devin to let go as the house was just going up in flames. And I'll send pictures with that as well. It took a year later. There's a lot of problems with the community. We've tried to get people to help us in terms of attorneys and stuff. There's definitely some foul play going on there, but there's nothing that the attorneys can actually do. And so they did not start even beginning to rebuild the property until 1 year later, December 29th, one day after the fire. And so the house, the condo, is now in the process of being rebuilt. In the meantime, Danny and Devin have been living with us, and we've been going through our own share of interesting experiences in life. March of last year, my husband lost his job after 14 years. So we're really falling into a lot of the dynamics that's taking place in real life in everyday people's lives today. But as a family, we're keeping together, holding together, and moving through as best we can. So at this point now, when once the condo is rebuilt and the frame is up now, they have the frame up finally. We were so happy to see the foundation built. The people there were actually, after a year of waiting, we did want to try to get our little doggy's remains and have a burial, but that was really too much emotionally for us. But they did find Danny's lockbox, firebox, and he just had a few things in there, like his diploma from high school and a couple of important little letters and things from Devin, a few important memorabilia, and those things are very important when you actually lose everything. I never really understood what it meant to lose everything until I saw my son lose everything. Having said that, what happens now, Danny was not able as a single dad. He works as a janitor. He's a brilliant kid, but to be able to provide for himself and his son, he works as a janitor, and there's no negative things towards that. It's a job, and he does it well, and so he's okay with that. Um, so I lost my train of thought, but through this time, he makes a small income, and because of that, he was not able to afford any homeowners insurance, which means that he now needs to go in and replace everything within his apartment himself. The only things that are being provided is the exterior and the interior walls. So he'll have to go in and provide everything else. The kitchen, the bathroom, the floors, painting the house, cabinets, appliances, everything. And obviously, he's a kid. He's a kid that makes, a small income of about $300 a week. This is not an easy thing for him to do. So here I am. And the other thing, Ellen, well, to finish that, if there's anything, if you have anyone that would love to do a makeover, this is the place to do it. And there are several people within the condo. There are 16 people, 16 units in this one section that are all, I'll say, suffering. There are other people really going through financial distress. If you could only imagine, they still had to continue through this year to pay their mortgage naturally. But also, in addition, they still had to pay the community fees, even though they were not using the water, the garbage, they were not using any of the facilities. They were still required to pay it, and in fact, right now, my son is 2 months behind that, as well as a month behind the reassessment because they were underinsured for the exterior. Okay. So, having said that, this, if you could have somebody come in and do a makeover, oh my God, that would be just such a blessing. And then the next part of this is that with Devin's mom, and her name is Christina Burchett, and we just had a strong feeling the other day that she was back in jail. Okay, so I need to take 10 steps back. She has been in and out of jail. The reason Danny took Devin was because she was living in a halfway house for women, that had drug problems. She's had a cocaine and then a crack problem for as long as I can remember, several years before she came into our life. And actually, we brought her into the house to try to help her, and that's another story. She was kicked out of the halfway house when Devin was 5 months old, and Danny came to us and asked us if we could help him in, he was 21 years old, by the way, in keeping Devin and raising him and taking care of him. Otherwise, he would have been put into foster care. And I don't know, emotionally, there was just no way. I don't like to see children lost in the system. And he did promise that he would be responsible and he would take care of him. And he really has stepped up to the plate. Devin's mom has been in and out of prison, not just jail, but prison, for many years. And she did get out in August. She was in prison for over a year, I believe, for drugs. And when she came out, at 5 years old, Devin kept asking about his mom. And so she moved about 45 minutes away from us, knowing that her son was here. Anyway, rather than Danny asking her, get on a bus and come down and see your son, what he did was, just being the type of kid that he is, uh, he would bring Devin up so that Devin could see his mom. Of course, he did it for Devin. So Devin could see his mom every weekend. And then she started going more towards, let's take errands and do things. And so finally, Danny started to step back and say, she's not doing this for Devin anymore, and I need to disconnect a little bit. Then the phone calls became less and less, and she really has never taken an initiative, although I would like to believe that as a mother, she was happy to see her son. During this course of time, she would also talk to Devin privately and say, you want to come live with mommy. Now, my belief system is there's no way in the world that any judge would ever allow her to have custody of her son. And right now she's back in jail anyway. She was arrested again, I don't know how many times, but on March 7th. Having said that, here's the tricky part. If you look at pictures of Devin, Devin is, he's both African American and white. Danny is Caucasian, Tina's Caucasian. So Danny is not even the biological father. When Devin was first born, I don't know, my son was in deep denial because he was there, he saw the birth, he loved this kid, it was part of him, and they have a connection that goes beyond blood plus blood. But at that time, before he took custody, he took care of Devin, not custody even, I did order a paternity test, and I was not surprised, whereas my son, I don't know what he was thinking, was surprised. So the paternity test, of course, came out that Devin was not, that Danny was not his biological father, and he confronted Devin's mother, and she did say who the father was, and he's someone that is going to be in jail for quite some time. He is African American, and he's arrested for manufacturing, selling, producing. I feel he was prostituting out Devin's mom. The whole nine works with drugs. Okay. So when Tina came out and started asking Devin these questions, do you want to come live with mommy? Even though in my heart I cannot imagine any judge ever awarding her custody in the 6 years of his tender life, if she has seen it, well, first of all, she has never initiated to see him on her own. Any time that she has seen him has been initiated, where Danny has brought him there. We even said to her after a while when Danny's car broke down, get on the bus. It's a straight route. We'll pick you up from there. And she's never even taken that far. Also, there's never been, she's never contributed a single dime. She bought him clothes when she first came out for when he started kindergarten, and that's about it. But one thing that we've been told, even though we're told over and over in consultations, no judge in their right mind would ever hand Devin over. Danny is not able, you never know, first of all, because we're in Florida, and let me tell you, the justice system is crazy. Secondly, he's not able to receive any type of financial help in terms of possibly, food stamps is something that he really needs based on his income and what it is that he does. He can never collect child support. He can't do anything until he legally adopts Devin, and that costs we've been told is anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000, and right now that is not something we're able to do. I've also suggested to Danny to get Devin's last name changed to Schiraldi, so because I think it would be less confusing. By the way, Danny's name is on the birth certificate. Devin has only been living with us and Danny, at the same time since his condo burnt down, but exclusively. He's never even spent a night over with his mom. Danny wouldn't allow it anyway. But, okay, so here's where I am. Help. If there's anything you could do, I'm going to include some pictures. I'm going to try to give you an idea of who the kids are. Danny, every chance he's able to, goes to the school and volunteers. The teacher is so impressed. He's an amazing father. Every father should be what my son is, and that's the truth. So if there's anything at all that you could do, it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. I bow. Many blessings. Thank you so much. Bye now.